Hey everyone, so a couple days ago, Slayer's Fang dropped. New exotic shotgun for Mag 3. TLDR on this one, I don't think this exotic is essential to get in the way Choir of One was, but man, I gotta tell you, this thing is fun to use. It feels really good, you know, the handling and just the shooting, everything about it feels good. A lot of cool stuff going on with the reload animation and the ricochet rounds, and if you stack up some damage buffs, you know, Radiant, Void Weapon Surge, it's pretty good for single target damage, and it gets even better with no backup plans on Titan. It has some added utility through applying Weaken and giving yourself Void Overshields, and it has some okay ad clear with the submunitions, but those can be pretty unpredictable, so that's just a nice bonus with this shotgun. Basically, the way I see it, it's like Fourth Horseman, but with more utility and more range. If all that intrigues you, give it a shot. Also, I really like it in PvP. Always been a fan of slugs. Apparently the stats aren't the best, according to the PvPers out there, but that doesn't mean you can't have some fun with it. Now, there are two really cool and potentially useful hidden interactions that the shotgun has, and they both have to do with the exotic perk. So normally, when you get a kill with this shotgun, you activate Nightsworn's Sight, and while that's active, getting kills will give you True Sight, which lets you see through walls, submunitions will weaken enemies, you'll get increased reload speed, which is actually pretty noticeable, and the shotgun slug will do 15% more precision damage. So, you know, a bunch of different buffs from getting just one kill. But you don't actually need to get a kill to activate this perk. So the first secret interaction is that picking up Void Breaches will activate Nightsworn's Sight. This will even give you the True Sight benefit as soon as you pick up the Void Breach. Now, the second secret interaction is the much more interesting one in my opinion, and the one that I could see being useful in team boss damage and team play with this shotgun. So, like the last one, this is not stated anywhere on the weapon, but if a teammate gets a kill with the Slayer's Fang when you're near them, and you have it equipped, that will activate Nightsworn's Sight, the exotic perk, for you. We did some testing here, and we found out that the range on this effect is pretty far, as you can see in this clip. Yeah, kill that guy next to you. So it didn't work from there. Oh, it did. Yeah, so we kind of discovered with this that there's kind of a lingering effect with this interaction. So I didn't get the buff at first, but when I ran towards my teammate, then it gave it to me. Okay, it didn't give it to me. So it's, wait, it just did now. Now, the activation of the perk through this method won't give you True Sight, but we did confirm that you do get the increased damage, so it's not just a visual bug. We also discovered that you need to have a line of sight with your teammate for this to work.
Yeah. No, it did not refresh mine.
Wow, okay. How about now? Did you get it now when you got close to me?
No, probably too late.
All right.
If you get a kill right next to each other, it activates fine. He gets a kill from behind the wall, however, it doesn't work. So this could be useful in GM content. You know, everyone's running the shotgun, only one teammate needs to kill an enemy, and everyone gets the benefits from the exotic perk. Then you go to town on a champion or something and slay out. But I'm actually more interested to see if this would be useful for like raid or dungeon boss damage. I could imagine 6 no backup plans Titans, maybe have a Warlock in there for a Well of Radiance, Lunafaction boots, have on the Bastion aspect, cycle barricades for the overshield refresh, one guy looks over, kills an enemy every 6 seconds, keep on doing damage. And the damage is decent with this thing, according to Ascross's footage, nothing crazy, but maybe this secret interaction can help push it even further in a team setting. You know, I love hidden interactions like this, especially with exotics, whether it be team-based or just, you know, other things in the game. We've had a handful in the past. Hierarchy of Needs would make bigger rings if you broke a Warmind cell with it. The Blight from Touch of Malice would buff all Weapon of Sorrow damage, just to name a few. And I hope we get more stuff like this in the future. Doesn't need to be with exotics, but just interactions between different aspects of the sandbox. I think they could really spice up gameplay if done right, and allow you to play in cool different ways and make you more powerful if you lean into it. That's kind of the direction I wish team synergy would go in this game. Not limitations like champions, but things that actually empower you to try out different things and synergize with your team. Will this hidden interaction move the needle with the Slayer's Fang and make it truly meta? Probably not, but it's just a neat little thing that you can take into consideration when running it. So now guys, I said this video will basically cover everything about the shotgun that you need to know in the thumbnail. So we're going to talk about the submunitions and the catalyst perks, and then at the end, I'll just give a final review, a final recap of the shotgun. So when we shoot, the round is going to split into submunitions, 7 to be exact, and they go in a straight line until they bounce. And I believe those submunitions will bounce a total of 2 times before dissipating. And even if they hit an enemy, they can keep on bouncing. Now, it seems like they'll track towards enemies enemies after they bounce, but this feels kind of inconsistent to me, when I've been playing with it. The way I see the submunitions is if they hit some extra enemies while I'm focused on one specific target, great. If they don't, that's fine too, I guess. Just keep on rolling. One of the cool things is since these submunitions split as soon as you shoot, if you're shooting point blank at, say, a champion, you're not only doing the impact damage of the slug, you're also getting all 7 of those submunitions to deal damage. Now, in terms of damage numbers, the submunitions deal 3,645 damage, and they do benefit from buffs like void surges and even no backup plans on Titan. And they will also apply volatile if you have volatile rounds. That can make for some fun scenarios where, say, you're in a small room, the submunitions bounce all around, make everything volatile, lots of explosions. One of the weird things with these submunitions is their interaction with the exotic perk. So as I said earlier, when you get a kill, or when a teammate gets a kill with a shotgun, or when you pick up a void breach, you get nice sworn sight, which while active, getting kills grants true sight, you have faster reload speed, and you get 15% increased precision damage. The final benefit while the perk is active, submunitions weaken enemies, and weaken is 15% more damage if you didn't know, but while the perk is active, the submunitions themselves will actually deal less damage. I guess that's to compensate for the submunitions applying weaken, just to balance it out, I guess, but it's also just pretty weird, don't you think? Also, if you have the perk active and you hit yourself with the submunition, because yes, you actually can damage yourself with them, you'll just straight up weaken yourself. Another strange, or I guess straight up bad thing about the shotgun right now is the way the intrinsic overload interacts with overload champions. It will stun the overload upon shooting it at first, but it won't reapply the stun if you keep shooting. The champion will just heal through the stun. Something about the intrinsic overload is that means you can't apply anti-barrier to this weapon either through the artifact or through buffs like radiant and volatile rounds, so just be aware of that. Having said all that, this weapon does have 4 selectable catalyst perks. Now, the catalysts don't really move the needle for this thing, they're not that impactful, and while they do synergize mostly with the functionality of the weapon, there are only 2 catalyst perks in my opinion that can really make any sort of difference in endgame PvE. We've got Repulsor Brace, you kill an enemy affected by a void debuff, you get a void overshield for 8 seconds. We're applying weaken all the time with this thing, so you basically have on-demand void overshields all the time. The second perk that I think could be useful is Cascade Point, get a kill with another weapon, switch back to the shotgun, shoot quicker. Basically, more damage. I will say for Cascade Point, this thing doesn't take into effect as much as I would like it to in stuff like GMs. It just doesn't really feel good needing to get a kill with another weapon and switch back to this thing for such a short buff duration. I think something like Discord would have been cooler and fit more with the functionality of the weapon, maybe Onslaught, but that might have been a little bit too much. Then you have 2 perks that just improve the feel of the weapon, probably more PvP oriented, Loose Change and Stats for All. Loose Change is activated by applying an elemental debuff such as Weaken with this shotgun. It gives plus 50 reload speed, plus 20 aim assist, and you move a little bit quicker while ADS. The perk lasts 4.5 seconds. Now you do get the reload speed benefit via the exotic perk, and that already makes the reload really fast, so I don't think the reload speed from this perk will really help that much. Same goes for Stats for All, bunch of different stat benefits when you land damage on 3 separate enemies. I could see how they wanted this to be used with the shotgun. The submunitions are going to help you land shots on different enemies. You get some stat bumps, all is good, but kind of like the same thing with Loose Change, you don't really need these stat benefits in PvE. And that is basically all the important stuff for this shotgun that you need to know. There are the intrinsics, and I have a link on how to get those in the description, but none of them, or the stuff like, the selectable magazine perks or the barrels, will really help you all that much in PvE. So yeah, just to recap, this thing has a weird place in the sandbox in my opinion. If you want a utility based exotic void special weapon, you have Buried Bloodline that applies not only weaken but gives you Devour. If you want a more add clear and single target damage hybrid exotic void special, you have Choir of One. But I guess if you want a void exotic shotgun, this is going to be your best bet. Like I said at the beginning, it's comparable to Fourth Horseman, just more utility, but no one really uses Fourth Horseman, so we'll see where this one goes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon.